Hey everyone! So I woke up this morning to snow on the ground and on the deck garden, and yes, it is April, and yes, it usually does snow here in April, but somehow every year I am still shocked and upset when I see snow in April. But it's now about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's maybe in the 40s and the snow has all melted. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that's the last snowfall until next winter. So I decided it'd be a good time to get outside and force spring along by planting some beautiful spring flowers. So I have some violas here that I'm going to plant. I have these, which are really pretty. They're purple and yellow. And then I have some over here, try to pick this up without breaking it, that are more of like a bluish violet color. And then I have, what are these? These are dianthus that I'm going to plant up as well. These are going to go in some pots just on the containers that I have on my deck. So other than planting up these flowers, I'm also going to sow some carrot seeds. This is actually going to be my first time ever growing carrots. I'm really excited. I don't know yet where I'm going to put them, either in a grow bag or potentially a raised bed around some tulips. We'll kind of see how much space I think I have. But these are tricolor carrots, and they're from the brand Renee's Garden, which I think some of my morning glories are from as well, that I got at just a local garden center. So I'm excited to plant up those. And then the last thing is I have 2 of these lavender Munstead plants that eventually are going to go in a container, which will kind of be their permanent spot since they do come back each year as perennials. But right now there are tulips in those containers, but they need to get out of their nursery pots that I got them in. So I'm just going to pot them up in something slightly larger for now, in the hopes that sometime, probably end of May, I'll be able to put them in their more permanent location. So let me kind of show you what I'm thinking as far as placement of all of these, and then we'll go ahead and start planting. Here's a bit better look at everything I have. So the violas here, dianthus here, and my lavender. Now what I'm thinking as far as the pink and purple, I think that will look nice around my rose tree here. So I potted this up. It was in its nursery container since I got it in the fall. It's now in this larger container, and I think just this empty space underneath will look really nice with some added color there. So I don't know if I'll use all of the purple violas in here. If not, I'll put them in another pot. I have plenty of space. Then coming over here, so this pot is the one that I want to put the lavender in, but again, there are tulips in here, and these I did not start from bulbs. I got them from Home Depot, some pansies around them. So once those are done, I will transplant the lilac again, or the lavender again, into here. And then over here, I think I'm going to put the yellow and purple combination violas, because I think that'll look really nice, especially while we wait for this little guy to grow in. So I have one here, and then I think we might sow the carrots back in this raised bed. But let's go ahead, we'll do the flower planting first, and then we'll go ahead and sow the carrots. So here we are. I think that looks really nice and fun and colorful, so that makes me really happy. I went with a dianthus in each corner and then just one viola between them because I think that kind of worked space-wise. I didn't add any sort of biotone or anything like that because I just repotted this a few days ago, the whole entire rose into this container, and I put in a bunch of compost. So I think there should be enough nutrients in here, and I really don't do a lot of fertilizing on these kind of spring flowers. I just kind of let them go until it's time to switch to the warm weather crops. But here is what she looks like. I'm going to do the 2 delphinium pots next. Here are the 2 pots now with the violas surrounding the delphiniums. The delphiniums are still so small, it's just nice for these pots to not look so empty, and it works really nicely with everything else I have going on here. So this is the side of the deck that faces the door inside, so it's just nice to be able to look out and see all of the pretty colors. I'm going to go ahead and pot up the lavender next, which I'm going to do in 2 of these white pots. So this is what I had all of my herbs in last year. Well, I think all of them except for maybe 2. And I think these containers are just too small. I'd estimate they're like 6 inches in diameter, so I'm switching up to 8-inch terracotta pots where I think they'll be happier. But since this is just a transition pot until the tulips in the gray pots in front are gone, I'm gonna go ahead and use these. I have just some soil and compost in here right now. I'll go ahead and plant these and then fill with any remaining soil that I need to fill the pot. The white pots really show off the amount of mess I make whenever I repot anything. I love the smell of these, and actually my favorite smell of a flower is lilac, which I thought until like a few years ago was lavender, because I don't know, they're both purple flowers that smell nice in spring. So I thought lavender was my favorite, which I still do love, but I think lilac is actually my favorite scent of a flower. Now these I'm just going to leave probably on the deck for now until they're ready to pot up, and then I'm also going to have a separate herb garden where the third one is going to go. So this is the pot again that I'm using for everything in the actual herb garden itself, which I usually set up here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it there or move it, but we'll find out in the next couple of months. And yes, I did get 3 lavender plants. All right, so the last thing is to sow these carrots, and then I'm going to water everything in that I just planted. And then I need to pot up the rest of the violas, which I think I'm going to do down on our front stairs, which I don't think I've ever shown before. So I'll get those in those pots and I'll kind of show you what we have going on the front stairs. It's not a ton, but just a few pots to make me happy. And that's really all that anyone walking by can actually see, because that's what faces the street. I've decided I am going to go with this raised bed instead of a separate grow bag because, again, I've mentioned this, but I apparently planted tulips. I have no actual record of planting it, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 popping up, so not a ton. I don't think whatever I planted, maybe it was just excess. So I'm just going to kind of scratch the mulch aside, sow the carrot seeds, which, let's see how deep, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep, and I'll just kind of sow these all around where the tulips are growing, obviously trying to avoid right next to the tulips, but just to fill in the space in this bed. carrot seeds are now sown. I delicately just kind of drew my finger along to get about that 1/4 to 1/2 inch. I didn't run into any tulips, but I did a line here in the front and then just some random lines between where the tulips are growing. So we'll see how this goes, and I'm just excited to have my first carrots ever growing. So here's what we're looking like right now. So carrots are back there. The violas I just planted are on either side here. And then back there in the rose pot are the other spring flowers, and then the 2 lavender are just sitting there for now. But I'm also excited because over here I ordered a metal flower cart, which is really pretty. I'll see if I can get a photo of it and insert it here, but I'm just really excited for it. I've basically been potting everything on my little table. I would like to have something else that's also beautiful to pot things on, store pots on, put some flower pots on, maybe use as something to have like summer cocktails when I have friends over, but I will show you that when it gets here, and hopefully I love it as much as I think I'm going to. But now let's go ahead. I will pot the remaining violas here and then show you the front pots. Here are the 4 front pots. I added the violas here and here. I already had pansies in here, and then I'm just kind of putting whatever I have left over in there. But this pot stays out over winter. These I bring out each spring. So that's going to be everything for today. Just a few quick garden tasks, which that was kind of the norm last year. You kind of just hop out, see what you have to do in the garden, and it's nice to be back kind of in that routine. I'm hoping for no more snow, hoping for only warmer weather from here, and then soon the tulips should be blooming as well, so that'll be really exciting. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.